Hey everyone, Krista here. Today we're going to talk about the city of Enterprise in Volusia County and specifically the community of Stone Island. So stick around. Hello again everyone. My name's Krista Tarns and I'm a realtor with Fathom Realty here in Central Florida. Now, about 10 years ago, I was just another person trying to figure out what city to move to in Central Florida, but I was coming from Europe. So I'm trying to create these videos to help you out and give you an idea of what's available here and what part of town you might like to live in. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe and hit the bell below so that you'll be informed every time I put up a new video. I'd like to start off by telling you a little bit about the history of Enterprise. So Enterprise is located on the northern banks of Lake Monroe, and it's a little town by today's standards. But back in the mid to late 1800s, let's say, it was a really booming little city. There was a steamboat that would take people from Jacksonville down the St. Johns to Palatka, Florida, and then later on to Enterprise. And there was a great big hotel there called the Brock House. And apparently presidents used to come stay there, and Vanderbilts and other wealthy people from up north, and it was a really popular resort town. I know the first time that I went to Enterprise, I remember it well because I was looking for a friend's house and I was driving along Enterprise Osteen Road, and it's just so beautiful. It's like a rural, wild Florida feel, and you're driving along and the big canopied oaks are hanging overhead, and you can just every now and then catch a little glimpse of Lake Monroe, and it's so serene and so green and so beautiful. And I know the appeal exists for many people, and so that's what we want to talk about. Today, Enterprise, Florida has a population of roughly 45,000 people. It has a small historic district, and it's home to the Florida United Methodist Children's Home. Enterprise is staunchly resisting being annexed by the city of Deltona, which basically surrounds this small town on all sides except for where Enterprise borders Lake Monroe. Because Enterprise is so small, there really aren't a lot of houses for sale at any given moment. I think right now on the MLS I found 6. But I have noticed that a lot of times agents will list it as Deltona rather than Enterprise. So sometimes if you're searching for a home, it's better to search by drawing a radius on the map rather than specifying the city of Enterprise if this is what you're interested in. And why wouldn't you be? Enterprise is a great little town. And now I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about my favorite part of Enterprise, which is Stone Island. Stone Island is an amazing private golf cart community located on the banks of Lake Monroe. It's not gated or guarded, but it's very private. Many of the houses are on oversized lots, and it has its own boat ramp, tennis courts, and horse stables. Some of the street names have Native American origins, like Arrowhead, Kettle Drum, Sioux Trail, Old Mill, Stone Trail. It's a really interesting and historical area that you just have to see to understand. You can often see people on the various canals that cut through Stone Island, either on boats or on kayaks. You can see people in their golf carts or on horseback. It's just a really cool and unique little neighborhood. The earliest homes date back to the early 1970s, and some of them are in HOAs and some of them aren't. The lot sizes are much larger than what you would typically find in any kind of community in Central Florida, so you really have a lot of privacy in most houses. It's also heavily wooded with mature trees, so you can get a feeling of being really, really private, although you are in a definite neighborhood setting. At this exact moment of filming, the house prices range from $350,000 to $1.8 million, and there are only 3 houses for sale. In the description below, I will provide a link so you can check out and see what's available when you're viewing this video. Now, because Stone Island is located on the banks of Lake Monroe, many of the houses, especially those closer to the lake, are in a flood zone. And you can tell that when you're looking at properties online. If it says it's in flood zone X, that's not a flood zone. But you can also take the address of the property that you're interested in and go to the FEMA map, FEMA, and check out and see if the house is considered to be in a flood zone or not. And that way you can talk to an insurance provider and see how much flood insurance might cost you. Really, being in a flood zone is one of the few negatives I can come up with for Stone Island. You're located really close to I-4. You've got that great feeling of privacy, and yet you're really close to everything. You could be in Lake Mary in maybe 15 minutes and down to Orlando in probably half an hour. So although you have this amazing feeling of privacy and wild old Florida, you're really close to everything anyway. If you're interested in learning more about this area, please be sure to check out my video about Deltona next. Thanks for watching.